Oh man, Artemis is so gonna kill me for this. And don't even get me started on Mom and Dad. Kid, just tell them, okay?
The thing about Wally West is that unlike everyone else in Young Justice, he actually doesn't have any daddy issues. He's not trying to defy the legacy of his inherited identity like Calder or Artemis.
I was so desperate to make sure none of you found out.
Chasing the attention of someone he wants to be but can't, like Dick and Connor.
That's not me.
Or even lost anyone, like Zatanna. Wally's just simply the nephew of the Flash, who's already like the chillest guy ever.
Sorry,
Actually, he saved me. Or at least, you all did.
He gained the same superpowers, the same way. His parents and extended family are very supportive to the extent that being a superhero is kinda like carrying on a small family business.
Thanks, Uncle Barry.
It's a tradition. Jay grew old doing it,
Joan's gonna kill me just for putting on the tin hat.
Barry is doing it and has his own kids,
Barry.
while Wally is having fun doing his part. As a result, he lives a deeply secure life where the moniker of the Flash has a respected history and a promising future, and Wally has no insecurity over if he belongs.
Seriously? Hey, once this whole invasion thing's over, Artemis and I are going back into retirement. Someone needs to carry on the family tradition.
As a result, I think the best way to examine his character and legacy is to directly analyze this. Wally West is a very well-regulated individual because of the social conditions he was raised in. He's a product of socialization.
Something changing your mind.
Which, as outlined by Grusik, has three outcomes. One is the development of self-regulation of emotion, thinking, and behavior. The second is the acquisition of a culture's standards, attitudes, and values, including the appropriate and willing conformity to and cooperation with the direction of authority figures. The final outcome of socialization is what Kuczynski and Krusek have termed collateral effects. During the course of helping children develop self-regulation and acquire values and standards, parents also less intentionally teach role-taking skills, strategies for resolving conflicts, and ways of viewing relationships. In which for Wally West, all these outcomes are all uncomplicated and pro-social. His parents are lovely and open-minded. He conforms to a familial brand which puts him on responsible standards, and he was taught by his mentor to resolve conflicts and work under pressure by being really chill and sociable.
Oh, please! You'll chat it up with the cops, with bystanders, with Cold even.
As a result, in a more cynical story, this simplicity could have probably made him either sheltered or like an asshole privileged type with the perfect family and all.
You're Wally West, my first cousin once removed.
The operative word being removed.
But instead, his upbringing and personality is what made him actually socially valuable. Wally's not the fastest guy, in fact, that's literally why he died.
I may not be as fast as you two, but I can add my fair share of kinetic energy.
But he has something others lack. He's very grounded. There's three relationships I want to examine which then exemplifies this and shows the touch point between what Wally brings and what others lack.
Dude, I just heard. You saved an entire country.
I hacked the motion sensors.
Sweet. What can I say? I'm the man.
The first is, of course, Wally and Dick, who form the best friends of the show. Both come from superhero families, both are jokesters, and both have red and yellow in their costumes. However, Dick was socialized differently. He's calculating and cold, because his father is literally Batman. Therefore, he has a tendency to lie and use people to succeed.
You knew. You knew from the beginning why we were really here.
Thus, within this dynamic, Wally's purpose is rather simple. He gets Dick to enjoy his youth. On one hand, it's by calling Dick out for his need to cover things up.
I didn't want my best pal questioning my objectivity.
Dude, that's what a best pal's for.
On the other hand, their missions become kinda like games. This is especially highlighted during Dick's fever dream as an adult, when that joy was lost. There was a time when missions were like holidays, and souvenirs could be a concern, but not anymore.
I need a break, Calder.
The second relationship is Wally and Connor. Did you know after being freed from Cadmus, Superboy spent the night at Wally's? Wally, as the socially open guy, brought a level of normality to the team, and Connor was there quietly learning as he participated, in which it was to the extent that when Connor was stuck in the Phantom Zone, suspecting that he's actually dead, who does he think of? Wally.
It's a long way to jump.
Come on, jumping's totally your thing.
Where even in death, Wally West is there as a role model, teaching him how to act correctly.
It's a long way to jump.
Always is. When it matters, it always will be.
This moment also happens earlier with Artemis, in which I'm going to save the bulk of their relationship for her own video, because it's arguably more interesting from her point of view. But within Zatanna's illusion, it wasn't Wally's ghost that guided Artemis's return to reality to give her the ability to move on. It was his memory.
I won't let you throw your life away on a memory of what was, or even on a dream of what might have been. There's a real life for you beyond this door. A chance at real love.
In all of these moments after death, because Wally's life was lived so consistently, that to imagine him brings back his grounding influence.
I got what I needed. Thank you.
Ditching the game doesn't mean ditching my friends.
Thank you for coming, Wally. This has been the hardest 2 days of my life.
Is it just the red hair?
What are you talking about?
Your need for a Wally West substitute?
What? I left you behind because you know my backstory.
Harder than prison, then losing the use of my legs, then losing Jade to the life.
That's ridiculous!
Is it? You already had Roy and Jim. You didn't need me. Not for a mission, anyway.
I could not have survived this without you.
I needed someone who knows the city.
You needed someone who knows you.
No, I had my chance.
You'll get another.
Oh, I love Thanksgiving.
So this very morning, I want you to stop mourning. I want you to live your life.
What are you even doing here, West? I thought you ditched the hero game.
And find love. I'm not sure who could possibly deserve you.
You're still worried about Roy.
He's lost, babe. Alone. The guy just won't let anyone in.
I have been one with Kid Flash and Aqualad. Both are ready.
And I trust you to make the right choice. After all, babe, you must have good taste. You pick me.
Ow!
Those are for dinner, Wally.
I'm not sorry that I came here.
Are you going to Cadmus? Because if you're going, I'm going.
Hey, me neither. This is wrong.
We can't leave him like this.
We needed this night to finally say goodbye. But the night's ending.
Began created a playground, an open space in Artemis's mind. But Artemis created or imagined everything she saw and experienced.
And it's time for my Spitfire to go home and live.
Souvenir.
The man who finally figured out that the sweetest birthday present a lucky stiff like me could ever get was seeing that little girl smile.
Wally West is a grounding force that draws everyone back to a place where the personal and the professional mixed healthfully as opposed to destructive. Because the thing about Young Justice is that all of these characters are treated as child soldiers. Each and every one are replacing a large portion of their childhood with their service. Thus, they're arguably making deeply unfair sacrifices before most of them finished puberty. But then there's Wally West in all of this.
Someday, you'll get used to watching Wally eat.
Walking around as the most well-adjusted individual.
Wally, you're in denial.
I'm comfortable with that.
Unlike Dick, Connor, and Artemis, who had horrifying discoveries after the suicide mission training, Wally was just...
You're peachy.
Because he knew what he was. He had a normal life he could return to, and he knew what his future was.
Wally, I thought you were eating with your family.
Oh, yeah, Dad'll kill me if I'm late.
The only thing that caught him off guard is that perhaps Artemis could have a larger role in it. Writing this video was way harder than expected, because Wally is just so uncomplicated and straightforward. But then I realized uncomplicated, good-natured characters are often my favorite characters, especially in ensemble pieces, for the reason that there's a beauty to consistency, especially when you make it valuable. A part of me still wants to believe Wally is still alive. Maybe he actually ran so fast he escaped into the Speed Force. I mean, those were my immediate thoughts when they teased the Legion of Superheroes. However, that was not the case, and they even made Artemis moving on a major plot point for her. But at this rate, after 100 years later, I'm kind of finally at peace with his passing, because Wally's light only became brighter for the reason that he's attached to memories of a lifetime that increases his power as a grounding force. He was everyone's best friend. He was everyone's childhood. He was everyone's hero. Wally West wasn't the best soldier or the fastest, but he did teach his friends how to live.
It's a long way to jump.
Dude, we'll make it. We'll make it together.
by something we can't see. I was out in the night when something.
Hello internet, so that video was actually a complete nightmare to make because I kept overthinking what the video should be about. First of all, I didn't really want it to be just a biographical summary of his life. I wanted to very specifically talk about his legacy and his impact on his friends and the rest of the characters, which then made editing harder because there was an arc which had to be really carefully controlled. Anyways, special thanks to everyone on Patreon. I'm gonna completely reconstruct what's on there now for 2024, but yeah, stay tuned.